crafters, this is Paulette. We are going to cut up this large car sponge. I hope my knife is sharp enough. I have sharpened it, but we're going to try this out. We're going to use a large knife, a small pair of sharp scissors. This is the Stampin' Up! Tab punch. And we're going to, that's what I use on the top of my sponges. Any punch will work. The label punch will work. That's the modern label. This is the decorative label. Any of these punches will work that you can just fold in half and write on and staple onto your sponge. I did not bring the stapler over here. That is how I attach. I staple through, and then on the back side here where the two pieces come together and pinch, I put a little piece of Scotch tape on that just so that doesn't end up cutting or poking my fingers. So let's see if my knife is sharp enough. I have sharpened my knife. My brother buys me all kinds of gizmos and gadgets, and he bought me a knife sharpener one time. So, oh good, look, it did good. So we're just going to cut this in half. This way. Awesome. Ooh, isn't that pretty? And then we're going to work on one half here. And I think what I said I was going to do was cut here and here. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is going to give me a lot of sponges. So that way, and then we're going to turn it, and I'm going to cut it. Let's see how many I think I may have to do. 1 here and 2 here. Yep, I think that's what we're going to do. So, figure out, I'm going to kind of put this on the diagonal here so that I know where the center is. Really, gosh, why aren't I using these lines right here? Okay. So, let's use this center line. That is really the center, but I'm going to cut on each side of that, and then one more section on each side of that. So, what does that give me? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 15, you know, sponges out of each side. That's 30 sponges, you guys, for $1.67, which is awesome. So let's just do it again. I'm going to get right here between these two squares and centered on that center line. Doesn't have to be precise, but pretty close. Excuse me. I am having just a allergy. All the weeds are dying. We have so much ragweed in the Ozarks that it's not even funny. So I'm having a lot of allergy phlegmage. Alright. And then I will just, I'm not going to line it up there on that, because I can kind of just look at this and tell where I want to be. Please be careful, do not cut yourself, especially since I sharpened my knife and I'm kind of not really level there, so I've moved my last two squares over. So how cool is that? 30 sponges for $1.67. I'm so excited with myself. Okay. So now the ones that are the corner, they're going to be really super nice. And then we'll have these that have lots of cornerage. So you may want to use this weird slope as your top. I don't know. You'll just have to decide. That could be the bottom, but I don't like how it's concave. I can tell you already. I'm probably going to use those as my tops. And mine are mostly rectangular in shape, so I will still do that. I'm going to use this as my top, and this very flat, blunt edge will be my bottom. But here's what I do. I take my scissors and I trim off that angle on all sides. Except for my top, because it doesn't matter what the top looks like. But I want as much of a rounded edge. And then I just keep trimming until I get that kind of edge that I'm looking for. You could obviously do as much or as little as you want. So this is pretty good. There's one little weird spot. So just kind of where it's rounded, where I've taken away all of those sharp edges. But of course, by the time you add your staple in here, it's going to curve that some anyway. So you can do as much or as little as you want, but that's how I got my really nice rounded edges. So let's just do another one. Oh, did that one not get, that one didn't get cut all the way. Now this one already has a nice curved edge, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use that. Well, I really like it this way though, because that way will be way too thick. So I'm going to go this way, and I'll end up not using that. So let's just trim around here, and we'll trim off all these sharp edges. I'm losing where I was. Okay, here we go. I think I got a little crazy there and lost my place. Or changed my mind. That's what I did. And this is kind of messy, but to me, worth it in the end. Because then you don't get, I'm afraid if I left them blunt like this, I would get weird. You would get this impression. You would get this corner impression when you put that down on your cardstock. It's got a little bit of static electricity in it. Well, this is good that it came out to a whole bunch of pieces because some of my sponges are getting really wore out. Okay, so now you can see my edge is fairly good. I mean, you could obviously, depends on how, you know, picky you are, you could obviously spend a lot of time here doing that. But that's pretty good. Nice and rounded on all edges. And this is going to be my top, so let's just sit it that way. And I need a new color for Coastal Cabana, I know that. And this color cardstock is just about that. So I've pulled that out of my scrap bin. And I am just going to come in here and punch one out. These fold in half. I'm just going to write on here. I'm going to grab the stapler real quick. And we're just going to put this on here. Pinch it together and bring the other side down. And I'm just going to stick it in the stapler. Punch it. Now, here's where I'm going to put my Scotch tape because sometimes those end up sticking up and they will cut your finger if you're not careful. So I'm just going to take a tiny little piece, just enough to cover, and stick it on there. And this one is ready to go. Coastal Cabana has its own sponge.